Well, hello. I hope you're having a tremendous day. My name is Josh Belk. I'm with Belk & Associates out of St. John, Indiana. Email jbelk@belkassociatesllc.com. Hopefully, I'll do something today to bring you a little bit of value. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about process and growth. Of course, everybody wants to talk about growing their business. I want to grow my business. I want a larger business. Not everybody, but a lot of people, they get into business wanting to grow it. And it may be, just kind of growing their bottom line profits. Maybe they want to become the largest whatever. But I'm going to mention just 10 different things, different ideas to maybe help you in this process of growth in your business. Of course, at a very kind of high level, think about, okay, well, how do I increase revenues or my bottom line in my business? Think about increasing your volume. So you increase your top line revenue or decreasing expenses, right? But going way beyond that, more to granular level, 10 ideas, maybe that'll help you. Number one, if you're wanting to grow your business, first of all, you need to look at the processes. So you need to develop processes and rules in your business before you start adding people. So if you have a very unorganized business, lacking processes, for example, and you try to grow on it, you're going to be even more unorganized. So first of all, define the rules and the processes in your business. Develop efficiency by simplifying processes. You automate your processes. They can be automated. Outsource many times those that can't. So look at the processes in your business and work on them. We have a client, a very good friend of mine, who owns a business, who all they do is they go to businesses, or one of the main things they do is they go to business and they help them with their processes. They've helped us. Here are some areas that you're very inefficient. Work on those areas, shore up those areas. Some areas of your business you need to just stop doing. You need to outsource it. You maybe need to get some additional help. So looking at your business, defining the rules and processes, definitely before you start adding people. Secondly, evaluate your current client or customer list and determine who in your client list generates the most revenue and profit for you. So this becomes your ideal client. So evaluate your current clientele list, determine who is bringing you the most profit, and then kind of build off of that and say, okay, this is kind of our ideal client. Thirdly, identifying your niche and define your avatar. So identify your niche and define your avatar. This is something in my business, for an example. I own an accounting firm, and one thing that we've done through the years is kind of identify who is our ideal client and what is our niche. And for us, it became more organic. I didn't come into this determining, okay, this is the area of accountancy that I'm going to excel in. It kind of became more natural because it was an area that I really enjoyed working in, and then I really enjoyed the people in that industry. And so we're kind of identifying who that ideal client is, but because of that, many times it's also the areas of my business that I find the most profitable. So identifying your niche and also defining your avatar. So it's easier to market your product or service to a smaller potential customer base and charge them premium pricing. Network with those in that group. So once you've identified that niche, you've identified your avatar, then you begin to direct your marketing toward that particular area. So you network with those in that group, and I do a fair amount of that. I get in front of those groups. I go to their events, and I network with those people in that group. I read what they read when I go to a meeting or a mastermind with that particular group. When I find out what they're reading, I want to read those same books. I want to figure out how are they thinking, what are they learning, because I want to learn alongside them. And so network with them, read what they read, listen to what they're listening to. Maybe they have a podcast that they're listening to, and ask them, hey, what are some things you're reading? What are some things you're listening to? So you begin to connect a little bit more with that niche, with that avatar, with that ideal client. Third, be able to give the benefit of what you do, your service or the product you sell in one sentence. So be able to kind of clearly identify what you do and why you do it in one sentence. Next, become a lifetime learner. So if you're really going to grow your business, you're going to constantly have to be learning. You're going to have to lift your own personal lid, your own personal development lid, your knowledge lid. So you're going to have to become a lifetime learner. So you should always have a book that you're reading. You'll probably can't see behind me here, but I have quite a few books that are kind of in the pile of the books I'm going to read next. And so I always know what I'm going to be reading next. Many books are given to me, but I'm very active in reading. Most of my clients that are successful are readers. I think the old adage of readers are leaders is very much true. So be a lifetime learner. Listen to podcasts. Maybe you're not a visual person reading books. Listen to podcasts. get involved in webinars, constantly learning, find some area that ways that you are good at receiving information and processing information, and do those things. So whether it's reading a book, taking a course, listening to podcasts, something you should be doing every day. I spend time every day reading books. I spend time every day listening to podcasts. If you were to come into my office during the week, you'll find a podcast that we're listening to, maybe some sort of something we're watching on YouTube, for example, something we're trying to learn. And this is true beyond just in your business. It should also be in your personal life as well. Reading books to help your own personal development as it relates to how can I become a better father, a better husband, a better friend, a better asset in the community in which I serve. Next, don't do business with negative or unreasonable people. In my business, and I tell people this quite often, I have a no jerk rule. If you're a jerk, I don't want to work with you. You'll find your business become a real drag if you're taking everybody on and you end up finding yourself having to work with people you don't want to work with. Get rid of those clients. Get rid of the negative influences out of your business. So don't do business with negative or unreasonable people. This also has to do with internally, the people that you hire. You hire somebody that's toxic, a person that's negative. It may be something you need to weed out, because they're going to end up dragging that old adage that one bad apple will ruin the whole bunch. If you have one person in your business that has a bad attitude, that's negative, that's a drain on the business, they're going to end up pulling other people down. So whether it's clients, whether it's people you hire, people you work with, put people around you that are positive, that are reasonable, that are uplifting, that are edifying. Hans Hansen had a quote here. It said, "People either inspire you or they drain you. Pick them wisely." That old line, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And take a look at those people that you hang around with, in business, outside of business. Are they people who drag you down? Are they people who drain you? Or people who lift you up? Next, work on your culture. Always be working on your culture. If you were to talk to my team, that's one word I use more than anything else. Both identifying clients that we want to work with, and also the resources that we use, the vendors that we use. Do they fit our culture? Are they people that we want to work with? So understanding what your culture is, and then constantly working on that culture. Be lifting up your people and working on them in the areas of your business as it relates to culture. Number 8, become effective in identifying and interpreting KPIs or OKRs in your business. So those key performance indicators, those objectives and key results in your business that need to be measured. So become effective in learning, okay, these are the things that I do need to measure to be able to grow my business. And identify what those are, and then constantly be analyzing those, looking at those. And then next, number 9 here, focus on great for a few things and good enough for the rest. Perfection is an impossible destination, so focus on great on a few things and good enough for the rest. So those areas that you are really good at, focus on achieving great, and everything else is an idea I think that comes from Tim Ferriss, but I'll read a quote here from him in just a moment. But so those areas that I can be great in, focus on that. Everything else, if I can become moderately good at those things, then I just want to really focus on great in the areas that I need to be great in. And then lastly, number 10 here, eliminate things that you can't define, act upon, or simply hate doing. Those particular items, outsource or delegate those. Tim Ferriss quote here, "If you can't define it or act upon it, forget it. To do otherwise creates stress." So eliminate those things that you can't define, act upon, or simply hate doing. As an accountant, in some ways, I still enjoy being a visionary. There's a lot of things that I would love to do, but some things I know I'm not going to be good at. Maybe I can't even clearly define what it is that I want to do. Those things I need to forget about. If I'm constantly trying to work on those, the rest of my business has become neglectful. I may be neglecting those areas of my business I need to focus on, and it becomes a distraction. So I need to eliminate those things. Parts of my areas of my business maybe I'm not good at. Maybe I need to delegate those things, and maybe there are certain parts of my areas of my business I need to outsource, so I can really focus on those areas that I'm good at, that I enjoy doing, and from that'll kind of help provide a foundation for future growth. So I'm just kind of quickly go through these 10 ideas once again. Define your rules and processes before adding people. Evaluate your current client list and your customer list, and determine who in your client list generates the most revenue and profit for you. Identify your niche. Define your avatar. Be able to give the benefit of what you do or the product that you sell in one sentence. Become a lifetime learner. Don't do business with negative or unreasonable people. Constantly be working on your culture. Become effective in identifying and interpreting your KPIs and your OKRs. Number 9, focus on great on a few things, good enough for the rest. And lastly, eliminate things you can't define, act upon, or simply hate doing. Hopefully this brought you some value. anything I can help you with, please reach out to me. Email jbelk@belkassociatesllc.com. Have a great day.